Thank you for tuning in with us every Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. About our host, Carlotta Taylor is not just a survivor of child abuse, but has grown into what we come to know as our personal thriver against all odds, who no longer flinches at adversity, but overcomes with authority. Carlotta decided to find the courage to say yes to herself. Miss Taylor has piece by piece faced her biggest adversary, the brokenness, and healed not only herself, but has also affected thousands through her outreach and influence. Carlotta Taylor is the author of the best-selling book, No More Flinching. Getting to the heart of the matter has always been what Carlotta is about. To keep in touch, text Carlotta to 888-111. It's time for the show to begin. It wouldn't be the same without you, because this is the place people bond worldwide, sharing powerful stories, prevailing over adversity. The heart of the matter is the people's joy. Now, turn your attention to our host, Carlotta Taylor, as the show begins.
Well, hello. Somebody said it's never too late. Somebody go ahead and type that in the comments. It is never too late. You let nothing stop you that tries to get in your way, interrupt your flow, interrupt anything that you have going on, because guess what? You can overcome it. Doesn't matter what you're going through. Find a way to reach beyond the breaking points of life. I am Carlotta Taylor, and today we're going to get to the heart of the matter with the awesome, amazing Joanne Bell from Georgetown, Mississippi. You need to be sharing this live. Let us know where you are tuning in from, whether you are listening by way of Facebook or YouTube, or better yet, later on, we're also going to be streaming this show live on the radio station, and stay tuned for those future details. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring up our amazing guest today, and that is Joanne Bell. How are you doing, Joanne?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
I am doing outstanding, man. I could not be doing better. Today is a wonderful day, and I'm so excited to have you on the Heart of the Matter show. I know it's going to be on and popping. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. First things first, Joanne, I asked everyone that is a guest here, what does getting to the heart of the matter mean to you?
Okay, so for me, and I always like to use examples, but getting to the heart of the matter means really digging deep to see what is the cause, what is the root cause of the problem that you see. And the example that I want to use is I may have used this before when I was on the show before, but I watched this show called My 600-Pound Life. And it was this particular show stood out to me because there was a young lady, and of course it's about people who are obese. She was overweight, and she ate and became overweight because as a child she was molested. Okay, and she was being raped over and over by family members and uncles, things like that. So she thought that if she got overweight, if she got fat or overweight, she would be unattractive and nobody would want to touch her or mess with her. Don't forget, it was the result. Her obesity was the result, but the root cause was her being raped and molested, and she thought eating and being overweight would stop the molestation and would make her unattractive. So that's what getting to the heart of the matter means, really digging deep to find out what is the root cause of the problem that we see on the outside.
Wow. So, I mean, that is an amazing answer. I think it's one of the most in-depth answers and analogies that I've ever received when asked that question. So she, in a sense, what she did was she had the rape, which caused the problem.
Right.
And then she used overeating as a driving force.
Yes.
To stop that from happening again, for a sense of protection.
Right. But her eating, eating, not only it didn't solve the problem, but it caused another problem.
Exactly.
Which was her being overweight, and then her health started
deteriorating.
Yes.
Wow. And that's a good example. I'm so glad you broke it down like that, because that right there just rolls out how people actually do in life anyway.
Definitely.
And that can go for any situation. Thank you for that. Wow.
Yes.
All right. So next phase, what we do here is we go back to childhood, And the reason why we go back to childhood, because childhood development is very essential. I cannot tell you how many people that I've taken the stage and I've shared my story, and I walk off stage and I have the elderly coming to me, sometimes 80 years old, saying, I never got over what happened to me back when.
Yes.
But it's so amazing to see people like you, Joanne, who have, overcame all sorts of adversity, but yet they're shining their light bright. They're walking in their purpose, and they're doing what God called them to be. But I know everybody has a story, and that's why we have the Heart of the Matter show. So if you would rewind the hands of time and take us back to little Joanne.
Little Joanne. And I've been thinking, I'm like, what do I want to talk about in my childhood as far as adversity? Because we faced a lot. Okay. I remember I was editing a book for somebody just today. I finished it, and the stories in there were just amazing about how they were poor, but they didn't really know they were poor. Because back in the day, you may not have a lot, but you learn how to make do with what you have. And kids created games. We used to do the prices right on. My dad used to haul paperwood. We call it paperwood. I know it's pulpwood, but we call it paperwood. So he had a paperwood truck, and there was one wheel that never touched the ground. So we would spin the wheel, and so we came up with our own stuff. So yes, we didn't have the best of things. I think the biggest adversity that caused was just going to school and not having the best stuff, and kids are just cruel anyway.
Yes,
It's worse now because you have social media and they can cyberbully you. But growing up, it was like kids were cruel and they would just say stuff. I was always that old ugly black girl. And oh yeah, and then girl, how growing and because we didn't have a lot, I looked at the material stuff and gauged the prettiness or the worthiness, the popularity and all of that off of what we had, because the other kids who were popular, they had the nice shoes, and I always wanted me a pair of BKs, those black and white was British Knights. You remember those British Knights? I wanted a pair of those, but just kids didn't make you feel good about not having what you had. And then even to see those kids, we would see that the parents are out struggling, trying to make sure these kids got all this stuff, and then they didn't appreciate it. And then you look back and you see, kids, they grow up and they become adults. And I remember one lady was saying, he wouldn't even wear buddies, but he had to have the most expensive shoes, and then he walked around with a pair of house shoes on. I'm like, because he didn't have to work for it. He didn't appreciate what they had. So us growing up and having to work for what we had, I remember so there was 6 of us, and the 2 boys were the oldest. And so when they got 18, they had to go. They moved out. And so we had this huge land. There was big side over here, big side up here, and then 2 in the back. So each girl had their own lawnmower. So we had to mow the grass. If we wanted to go somewhere, we had to get everything done before it was time to go to that football game or whatever.
Okay.
So adversity, yes, but learning experience, definitely yes. My dad would stand back and watch us change a flat tire, because he was like, I ain't gonna be there all the time. You're gonna have to learn how to change this tire. And he made us change the tire. And I'm grateful, because so many times on the side of the road, I've had to change my own tire, which I'm proud to say I can. But yeah. So so some adversity that we looked at as a child, now as an adult, I can see where it, just helped shape who I am today, and the things that I've been able to teach my children. With the bullying at school, it's like kids are going to say what they want to say. They're going to do what they want to do. When they think they're better, when they think they have more, they're going to throw all these types of ugly things at you. But then you got to make up in your mind, even as a child,
right,
if you're going to accept what they say, or if you're going to block out all that stuff and just keep moving forward and do what you got to do, even as a child.
Yes, I mean, there's so many layers.
Yes.
to what you just described and explained about your childhood. I can feel the warm and fuzziness, and that I don't want to do this, but let me hurry up and get this done so I can go where I need to go. I can definitely relate to the bullying. I remember. I don't know if you remember these pair of shoes. I don't know. I don't even know if they still make them. XJ900s.
I do. My sister had. They had high top too, right?
We used to have to wear them shoes. And my brother, he would take a pair of buddies, right? And he would literally draw Michael Jordan on the shoes and get roasted. I mean, we suffered bullying to the max, right?
Yes.
I have stories about that. But one thing about it is you learn a lot of key principles growing up.
Yes.
And you also was able to transfer that to your children. But also going back to the bullying real quick, when it came to bullying, I really feel that parents and teachers can do more coaching or do more constructive, positive reinforcement when it comes to, making sure your child is not going to school being that bully. Not saying they're going to listen, not saying that, but at least it would be instilled in them that, listen, the clothes you're wearing right now, that hairstyle you have, those shoes you have on your feet, that's the byproduct of what's coming out of our bank accounts. You're not paying.
Right.
So I tell my children all the time, you don't get to go and talk about what a child has or does not have because who's paying that bill? They are a reflection of that parent. And so it's really later in life where you really get to see what you're working with.
Yeah.
You're caring for yourself. But thank you for that. That was amazing. Let's go ahead and speed it on up a little bit. Let's bring it on up. Let's bring us up to high school and college years. If you have college years or those college age years.
Yes.
Tell us about how life was and what adversities in life really stuck out to you back then and connect with you right now.
Well, let me say this. I was so happy to get out of high school, even though it was cool while I was there. I didn't like it though. So I don't know why I thought I was gonna like college. I had a scholarship to go to Hines Community College Utica campus. I went for 1 month. Well, I mean, 1 semester. Got pregnant with my oldest daughter. I was 18 when I had her, then turned 19, and then got married in 1995 at age 19.
Okay,
so, just wanting to be an adult so fast, and then doing stuff that makes you have to become an adult really fast. I remember being pregnant, and I didn't know nothing. We were from the country, just country. I didn't know anything, so I'm pregnant and going to the doctor, and I didn't have a job or anything. My kid's father, we got married, stayed married for 14 years, but we weren't married at the time. And so the doctor says, well, you can't come back to the doctor until you pay this bill or pay on this bill. So I'm like, well, Lord, I'm pregnant. I don't know what to do. So I go tell my dad, and my daddy says, where the baby daddy at? And that's all he said. He didn't say nothing else. I was like, okay. So, it was like, you wanted to be grown. You wanted to do stuff that grown people do, that married people. So now you got to handle it, And so we just had to take care of our children. So we have 4 children together. But the adversity and all of that is just being married so young, thinking that when you don't know. And that's when, kind of like being a Christian, your fight don't start until you say, yes, Lord. And then here comes that doggone devil. And that's how it was when you say I do. Being married is not, it's not even a 50-50 thing. It's you giving 100 and me giving 100 and us coming together as one. And I think, with marriage, I think that's where people get it twisted. A lot of times I give my half, you get your half, and we have a whole, no. You got to give 100% of you, and I got to give 100% of me. And Carlotta, I felt like at one point I didn't even have the right to say what I just said because I had been divorced twice. So I thought I didn't even have the right to try to tell anybody what marriage is or what it should be. But I mean, I can tell you what not to do, and I can tell you my experience with it, you know. But marriage is a beautiful thing. I hate divorce. I hate it because it causes more agony than you can really see on the outside. You know what I'm saying? So even divorcing the kid's father, it was really tough, and it was tough watching the children go through that and not be around their father and all of that, feeling like they blamed me for all these years because I left and took them away from their father. Now, of course, they told me that they don't, you know, blame me and all of that stuff, but I felt that guilt for so long, because I felt like because I felt like I was the blame for taking them away from their father. So I guess big girl, I mean, and that was like my college years. Cause like I said, I got married when I was 19. Most people are in college until they're at least 24 if they go to a 4-year. By the time I was 24, I had three children. I had 3 children.
Yeah, a lot of love in your heart.
Yes. So, but I love my babies, and I told people I would not change a thing. If I had to do it all over again, I'd do it, because the byproduct of it, you know, the blessing from it was these 4 beautiful souls that I get to call my children, and they get to call me mom, and I'm just blessed by them. So it's hard for me, Carlotta, to stay on. It's hard for me to stay on the adversity because I'm on the other side and see the glory of God.
Hold on, we're gonna get there. We're gonna say that. We're gonna say that. We coming. I know you feel and ready to go. We're gonna get there. But we gotta talk about this because there's somebody else who got married young at 19. There's someone else who endured a divorce. And I love what you shared. There's someone else who went through the separation and they had to watch their children grieve with them, and they were blamed, and they have guilt and shame and stuff like that they have to deal with. Somebody might be going through that right now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand that everybody has their own walk, but sometimes it kind of crisscross. So we kind of experience some of the same things, although we may handle it a little differently. I firmly believe, and I tell all of my children this now, you know, you might get mad, viewers, but it's okay, you know, to each his own. But I firmly feel that when you graduate high school, because I got married at a young age too. I got married at, I think it was 19. I think my mom had to sign for me to get married, all of that, right? But I firmly believe, like, once you're coming out of high school, that's a time where you need to learn who you are, learn what you love, go and have fun, meet people, and do not rob yourself of those precious years, right? But, you know, if you decide to be married and you just headstrong about it, and there's some people who can do it and be together forever, and that's it. But for the most part, it's a lot of brokenness that comes away. You know, I didn't even know who I was at 19. And if you know my story, I was a hurt person that didn't do anything but hurt other people that were really close to me, trying to say, hey, I'm here for you. So I just think your story is remarkable, and I know you cannot wait to get to the other side of this conversation, but we are coming. So now take us into adulthood. So you're out of college, and now you're coming into yourself, and you experience the bullying, you experience the challenges, and I don't know why anyone would dare call you ugly because you're super gorgeous, but I understand kid things, right? So bring us in the forefront, more so in the developing of Joanne, the adult woman, the queen. Let's talk about that, and then we're going to talk about how you overcame the adversities that you went through and endured in life.
Okay, so getting married at 19 just kind of, I don't want to say stopped the development of Joanne, but I became a mom. Then I became a wife, you know, and then I became a working mom and wife. So that was a lot within itself. Okay. So I really didn't have a lot of time to figure out who Joanne was. I gave that up when I said, yes, let's have a baby. And yes, I do. Or I felt that way. I felt like I didn't have time to figure out who Joanne the individual was, because I knew I had to be Joanne the wife and Joanne the mom, because they were depending on me. So for a long time, and still learning to this day who Joanne is. So it's been a journey finding me,
Mm,
liking me,
love that.
because of all of the negative that I heard and experienced and went through. It took a long time for me to even look in the mirror and say, you are pretty, you
Gorgeous.
know. You are not old, ugly black Joanne. People used to, you know what I'm saying? But if
Right.
people say that enough and you keep hearing it enough, then
Believe it.
sometimes you start to believe that. And I'm like, now. And then it didn't help that I needed braces and I had little gaps. And so then I have this scar. Can you see the scar?
See, it's not
Look
even there. Look, I'm
at
all in the camera, but it's not even there.
this little scratch. I don't know where the scratch came from, but
See
this
it.
boy in high school used to call me Scarface. I was like, it was brutal. And I'm like,
No.
God, Lee, am I that bad? So really trying to overcome all of that and finally look in the mirror and say, girl, I don't know what they were talking about, because you're pretty
Exactly.
cute,
Love it.
you're pretty cute.
Yes.
But just, with the kids and all of that, really starting to find time. I think I started trying to believing that I was pretty. I mean, the kid's father, he would tell me that I was pretty, sometimes, he was young. We were both young. We didn't know what we were doing. So we tried. But I think I started selling Mary Kay when I was pregnant with Josh or Little Tony, one of them. And I started putting on a little makeup and I was like, oh, okay, that's cute. Let's keep trying this. And so that's when I started trying to, you know, enhance
Yes.
the beauty
That's,
that God gave me. Should we
all
say it
right. I
that
like that choice of words.
way? Yes. So just the adversity of really trying to find who I am and realize that I am an individual. Outside of being a mom and a wife and a working mom and wife, then I am an individual. And I had to, try to figure out some things about me. What do I want? And not try to please everybody, um, not try to please the children. And then even learning how to raise the children and love the children equally, but raise them as far as, okay, Josh is like this. I can't talk to Josh like I talk to
Right.
little Tony. I can't talk to Maya like I talk to Tutu, because they are all different. So you have to learn all these different attitudes
Personality.
and personalities. That's the word, and work with it.
Yes.
And like you were saying, us as parents, we have the job of grooming our children to be productive adults,
Yes.
who are not liabilities, but they are assets to the community and to Mississippi, which I love. But they would be assets to Mississippi.
Yes.
So I
Wow.
don't know if I
There's
rambled
so
on a
many
whole lot.
layers. So many layers once again. I love the way that you are getting to the heart of the matter with your story, Joanne. And you're just an open book right now. And I really appreciate that, because that's what we do here on the Heart of the Matter show. If you're just tuning in, we are getting to the heart of the matter with Joanne Bell from Georgetown, Mississippi. And you do not want to miss her story. Oh my gosh, she is just revealing so much of her truth right now. Be sure to hit that share button. If you're listening in on Facebook or YouTube, be sure to share, because sharing is caring. Now,
Yes.
going back to what you just went over, it's so crucial what you were saying about what people said to you that you believe, like
Mhm.
Scarface. I'm looking like,
Oh,
where? You said, do you see the scar? I'm like, where? You're just so beautiful, Joanne, and you
thank
glow from
you.
the inside out. But those words,
Yeah.
when we hear those words as a child, and it's so detrimental to that, to our subconscious mind. I,
Yes.
I like to say that those words infiltrate your DNA and really become a part of who you are when you are accepting them as in your youth, because you're
Right.
so impressionable and you're like a
Right.
sponge. So you're soaking up everything you hear, everything you see, everything
Mm.
you watch. You're soaking it in, and those words, even though they hurt, you're
Yes.
soaking that in too. And as over time, next thing you know, you're believing it. So you
Right.
have to kind of, change your mindset. And
Uh-huh.
something has to happen in your life for you to have that aha moment. And you look in the mirror and say,
Yeah.
wait a minute, I am not that. I am who
Mm-hmm.
I say I am. I'm not ugly. I'm not, you get what I'm saying? So I'm
Yes.
glad you made it to that point, and I'm glad you overcame those hurdles that you went through. But now it's
Mhm.
time to get into this is your favorite part right here, okay? How did you overcome all of that, Joanne? How
It
did
was
you go from
Jesus.
wow. Oh, you gonna sing for us? Hey, we have to open it. If you're gonna do a little sound, I'll take that too. But how did you overcome those adversities? How did you shake it off and say, you know what, I'm no longer accepting those words that I thought were true about me, but I am going to say who God says I am? How did you do that?
Right. Well, Carlotta, I really and truly had to start relying on the faith that I had in God. When I was 10 years old, we were going to Jackson Revival Center, and I remember that night like it was yesterday, receiving the Holy Spirit, receiving Jesus into my heart, confessing that I believe that He is my Lord and Savior, being filled with the Holy Spirit with the evidence of speaking in tongues, and I
Oh,
just
evident.
remember that. And so as I grew and as I went from high school on up into my adult life, I know that God protected me. He kept me and He kept reminding me that He loved me in little bitty ways. And so as an adult, I remember what made me start studying, really studying the Bible, was when there was this movie came out. It was about Noah building the ark. And
Mm.
I watched this movie, and it was like they had people on bicycle boats rowing in the water, trying to talk to Noah. And I'm like, now I know good doggone well this ain't true. So I was like, we got to study this word for ourselves to show
Okay.
ourselves approved and understand what's really going on. So that's what made me really and truly start digging deep into the word and studying the word. And I'm just telling my truth. But when you study the word and you take that scripture and you apply it to your life, then you are renewing your mind daily. And you have to do that daily. Now, I'm not saying that I always have to say this. I am not perfect. And I by no means try to make people think that I'm perfect. But I know that, and I was telling somebody this the other day, it doesn't matter what I go through, it doesn't matter if everybody leaves me and nobody else is there, I know that God is there. And I know His love is real. I don't have to question it. I don't have to search for it. I know He is right there for me. So walking these scriptures out, that's what's keeping me sane with all of the things that we have to go through. The word of God is the only thing that's going to keep you in perfect peace by keeping your mind stayed on Him and going through the things that I've gone through, especially in these past few years. It's like that song, never would have made it.
Come on, sing for us, Joanne.
Never would have made it without you.
All
I
right.
would have
Yeah, right
lost it all. I'm
there. Come on
telling you,
now.
I would have lost my mind
All
if
right,
it
record deals,
hadn't
record deals.
been. Yes. But I would have lost my mind if it hadn't been for God and it hadn't been for the love of God.
Mm.
And Him walking me through
Wow.
everything that I went through. He walked me through it literally.
Wow.
Um,
I would like to go a little deeper right there since we're here
mhm.
and we're talking about how God really, um, really helped you through all of this and you had an awakening in a
Yes.
sense.
Mhm.
And did I hear you say Jackson Revival Center? I just want
Oh
to,
yeah.
shout out to the
Yes.
awesome, amazing Jackson Revival Center. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's really like my heart church. Um, I love Pastor Jennifer Beard. Like, oh my gosh, I
Yes.
have to go back and visit really, really soon. Shout out to you, Pastor Beard. Okay.
Right.
Yes, I love that church. And
Yeah.
can you give us another example? Like another example of just a real situation where
Mm-hmm.
you knew that God really showed himself up in your life and
Right.
how that really gave you the strength that you needed to really say, you know what, I'm going to be all right no matter what I went through.
Yes. So I okay, let's get it. Let's get it, Joanne. You got it.
You got it, brother. You got it.
2018, I got married in June of 2018. And um, that was supposed to be the happiest time, right?
Yeah.
I was happy that we tied the knot, we got married, and we did all the right things. Finally, took the right steps to do that. We find ourselves and for me, that was, and all I got is my story, my experience, my truth. And for me, that was the most devastating thing that I went through. And I think I think the thing that I was struggling with, yes, I wanted my husband back. I wanted him to stay. I didn't want him to leave. Um, but then now he's gone. Now I got to deal with the shame in my mind. I got to deal with the
Right.
shame of being married for only 1 year and now you're not together anymore. The just worrying about what people would say, how people would judge me, or just all of those thoughts and feelings and emotions, the embarrassment, the shame, the guilt, the whatever, all of these things that I'm dealing with. And I'm like, okay, God, I don't know how to deal with this. And I didn't want to say anything to anybody because I was still praying that my marriage would work.
Wow.
You know, I was still hoping, that he would come back, that we would be together, we would make it. Um, but that didn't happen. So in 2020, March of 2020, finally just realized, that it's time to move on. And I had to make the decision myself for me to start the healing process. I had to take that step and make that decision for me because in the past it was always, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Do you want me? Do you want to be with me? Do you? I had to take ownership of me and my situation, my circumstances, my feelings, my what I'm going through. I had to take ownership of it and say, look, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. So in March, I filed for divorce, and that was really, really tough for me to do. It was tough, um, but I did it. And then in May, the divorce was final, and it was like, okay, what do I do now? What do I do now, Lord? I'm divorced. People still didn't know. Some people still don't know. But that ain't mine. Yeah, I mean, um, but I'm like, Lord, what do I do? How do I get through this? And I chose to go through it alone. I didn't want to, there would be times where I'm at home and I'm like, I gotta call somebody. I'm gonna lose it. I gotta call somebody. I gotta call somebody. But then I would be like, no, I don't want nobody to know. No, I gotta go worry nobody. Because sometimes when you feel like you're going through the same stuff over and over and over, and you try to talk to somebody, and then it's like, when are you gonna get over it? Nobody ever said that to me, but I felt that way.
Felt it,
So I
yeah.
spent a lot of time in my room, in my closet, just me and God, and Him day by day walking me through the scriptures, giving me scriptures to quote. You'll keep me in perfect peace if I keep my mind stayed on you. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God for the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations, every high thing that is ought to self against, just quoting those scriptures. And then God leading me. The breakthrough came, Carlotta, when I, God had been trying to push me to do live videos on Facebook. I was always terrified. I would pre-record something and make sure it's perfect
Yeah.
before I post it. But then doing something live, I was always terrified to go live on Facebook because I was afraid that if it wasn't perfect or if I messed up and people see it, then, but God is like, you are not perfect, girl. So stop trying to make people think that you're perfect. I think we hurt people so bad when we try to show all the good that we're
Wow.
going through and doing instead of showing, not that you got to put all your business out there now. That ain't what he's saying either.
Right.
But don't try to make it look like you're just living this perfect life. And then people are watching you and they're like, man, she's got it all together. No, 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 she doesn't. But I had on a blue pantsuit. I was in my closet and God led me to do this live. And I'm telling you, I started that thing over and over and over for so many times. And I finally was like, I'm going to go ahead and do this.
Go
And I
ahead, hit that button.
and I did
Yeah.
the live video and sang the song "It Is Well with My Soul," and something broke during that video. And the next day or two, it was like I was finally able to, I felt free enough to do what God led me to do, which was read the Bible, read the book of Psalms every day until it was finished. And every night at 10 o'clock, because people are winding down and they're getting ready for bed, and just read. All he said do was read. Don't try to teach, don't try to preach, don't try, just read, and that was healing me, because there's something about you hearing yourself read the word. Your ears are hearing the word come through from your mouth into your ears and getting in your head. You're declaring the word over your own life. And you doing that every day, you know, that is renewing your mind. That is renewing your heart. And that's what healed me. That's what saved me. That's what delivered me. Being first obedient to God, and then reading that word out loud every day, and me hearing myself confess and declare the word over my own life. That's what healed me. The word of God. And that is the absolute truth. That's all I got, is that it was God, and it's
Listen,
in God.
your story is your story. And I've heard you can have same situations that you overcame and that you dealt with and that you pushed through, but somebody can take your same situation and
Mhm.
overcome it in a totally different way.
Right.
So I firmly believe that, whatever is best for you.
Mhm.
Because somebody else can be in your same situation and they have to deal with their healing process
Right.
completely different than you. But then
Yes.
there's somebody who could actually take a nugget or two from your story and how you overcame, and it may be what they need to change their life. So
Right.
thank you for sharing that. Now
Right.
it's time to get into who Joanne Bell really is, because if I'm not mistaken, well, first of all, I got to put it out here because we talked about this, and I want to make
Yes.
sure I play this. All right. I had the opportunity to meet this fabulous queen, Joanne Bell, at
Yes.
a movie review. That's how I
Mhm.
met you, right? I brought
Yes.
my books and I had a little book signing stand up there.
Yes.
The movie was absolutely incredible. Never knew that we would connect
No.
at a later point in life. You see how
Yes.
God works, right?
He is
Um,
awesome.
just amazing, right? And you
Yes.
had your books there and stuff like that. So let's get into tell us about what Joanne Bell is doing in life now, because if I'm not mistaken, you had this wonderful, amazing show called
Yes.
Woman to Woman with Joanne. That I had the opportunity to be a guest on, and I'm telling you, that
Yes.
was one of the best shows that I've ever set on live. And I
Yes.
loved it. I love the energy. I love the depthness. I love you hosting it. Very,
Yes.
very just amazing show. So tell us about what you have going on, Joanne, and let the guests know, or let the viewers know, what you're doing in your life right now.
Yes. And before I do that, Carlotta, I got to go back to what we were just talking about and say I did go to counseling. I did have a counselor because our mental health is very important. So I did start counseling. I was going like 3 times a week.
You said 3?
Yes, serious.
You was not playing. You was serious. You was real serious.
It was rough on me, girl.
You was serious.
So I was going 3 times a week when I first started because I needed it. It was really, really tough. So I do suggest if you need counseling, please go and get it. Don't be ashamed of it because that's what helped me as well. So I did want to put that out there. That counseling is
very, very key. Like I just said, everybody doesn't like. I just no pun intended. No pun intended. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
But everybody cannot just open up a Bible and read scriptures and be like, "I'm good." You were strong enough to do that, but also you went to counseling as well.
Definitely. Yes.
Sometimes I highly recommend that everybody needs somebody they can talk to, somebody they can trust, somebody that's not going to take what they're being told and go run it and put it in the wind, right?
Yeah.
You got to have that release. You got to have that release. So I'm glad you shared that you did attend counseling. And not only did you attend, but 3 times a week, okay?
3 times.
So you're really serious.
Girl.
Yes. And it paid off. It paid off.
I wanted to live.
Come on now.
And not die.
All right now.
Yeah. So Joanne Bell, now I am just really and truly learning me, and I have the freedom. I feel like I have the freedom to do that. I can be, I am just sometimes just the goofiest person in the world who just I have my African accent that I jump into sometimes just to do it.
Bring it in. Yes, ma'am. I like it.
But just yes, just having the freedom to learn who I am, to learn that I like sometimes to just sit and look at the rain while it's raining and to like, oh, or just I'm learning that I really didn't know that I was as much of an introvert as I am. Because even though I look so social, I just want to be at the house. Just let me go home. Just let me go to the house and I'm cool. But just really and truly learning the things that I like, the things that I don't like, and then getting comfortable enough to say, no, I can't do that. Yes, I can do that. Let me think about it and get back to you on that. Things that I never would have had the strength to say before, because you don't want to make people mad. You don't want people to feel like you this or you that. But now just really and truly getting to that point where this is who I am. I can say yes, I can say no, I can go, I don't have to go or whatever. And just have that freedom to laugh and smile. Me and the kids, we do our dance parties and all of that. Or, sometimes we laugh out. We say laugh out loud. We laugh out loud. We're loud. But then when it's time to get quiet, I need quiet because my ears are always open. So just really and truly learning daily who I am as an individual, and loving every minute of it and loving every inch of me. I look in the mirror now and I'm like, oh, yeah, look at you. Looking like your mama, just that make me feel good about me, that's just me coming to know me at 45 years old. The things that I'm just learning, I'm able to teach to my children, and they don't have to wait until they're 45 to learn those things. They can watch their mom, and kids and people are watching how you live. You know what I'm saying? They are really and truly watching you, and you and the way you live could actually be the life or death of somebody else. Especially if you're proclaiming you love Jesus. Not that you're going to be perfect. I try my best to make sure people, when you're a Christian, that don't mean that you're going to be perfect. You're going to do everything right. Jesus died on the cross for our sins that we have committed and the sins that we're going to commit, because we are a sinful people. And that's why he came to die for our sins and cover us. So when you fall, don't run from God, run to him. And I say that because that's what I used to do. I used to try to hide from God, like he didn't see what I did in the first place, you know. But it's like run to him, don't run from him, because he's waiting there. And the more you try to run from him, the worse things get.
Right.
But as soon as you get yourself out your own way and say, okay, Lord, look, I done went here, I done went there. You the only one that can fix this. Please help me. Because it's me, like, okay, Lord, here I am again. Here goes this mess I done made. Please help me fix it. And he's always right there. You know, sometimes I just get excited, I ramble on. So stop me if I'm
you're all right.
if I'm talking.
Listen, let's go ahead and tap into author Joanne Bell. Tell us about the books you've written. Give us a quick little synopsis of that. And then we're going to talk about how people can purchase your book and how they can be a guest on your show if you have any openings now and anything else you're doing.
So the name of the book that I've written, and I'm actually going to revamp some things in it, but it's called Fear Was My Friend. And Fear Was My Friend was written because I used to consider fear my friend. I used to live my life in fear. I used to do things because I'm doing it because I'm scared of what people are going to say, or scared of what people may not say, or scared of what people may think, whatever. But fear controlled my life, you know. And not that I'm saying fear is gone, and fear still sticks his ugly head in every chance it gets. But we have a choice. That's what I say in my book. We have a choice to say, fear, you don't own me. Fear, you have no place in my life. I see you. I even feel you. But you're not going to tell me where I can and can't go. You're not going to tell me what I can and cannot do. I choose faith, not fear. You know, and we have to make that choice every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. But it is our choice to make, you know. So that's the book. Fear Was My Friend, and I'm working on
Fear Was My Friend.
Yes. So we're probably going to rechange the name and all. There's a whole bunch of stuff I need to change in there, you know.
Well, Fear Was My Friend, I got to say, is an amazing title.
Yes.
It's saying a lot. Just, you know, we're authors, so we know that we want that title that is going to grasp their attention, make our readers feel, you know, something before they even open the cover of the book. Fear Was My Friend. It just makes me feel like you're going to take me on the journey. I'm going to get a really good story, and I'm going to learn how not to have fear as my friend anymore.
Definitely.
So I don't know what you're trying to do with the book. Fear Was My Friend is a great title.
Thank you.
Now, tell us how we can purchase the book.
You can either go to my website, which is woman2womanwithjoanne.com. Long website, but that's what it is. And you can go there to my website and purchase it. And that way you can get an autographed copy, because I have copies here. But you can also go on Amazon.com and purchase it there. There's an ebook there too. There's an ebook there too that you can purchase. Or you can call me. You can reach out to me on 601-398-6733. You can call me. I can meet you if you're just around the corner somewhere. I can meet you with the book. So, but yeah, my website, woman2womanwithjoanne.com, or you can reach out to me on Facebook and things like that as well.
Now, is it woman to woman as in T-O or the number 2?
T-O. So it's woman, WOMAN, TOWOMAN, WITHJOANNE.com.
All right. Now, let's go into what's next for Joanne. You know, we got the Woman to Woman show. We have the book, Fear Was My Friend. What's next?
Well, girl, you know, I'm actually going to be having an album release party. Now, this is crazy, right?
I knew it. I knew you was going to be singing. Didn't I say record deal? Look at me. Already. Yes. Come on now.
Yes. So it started out with me singing one song on an album for a lady that I know. She's my friend. Her name is Troy, and she lives in California, and she is a playwright and things like that. So she's written plays, and so she has a soundtrack to the play. And so there was one song she wanted me to sing. I sang that song, and she was like, "Oh my God, you did so well! I want you to sing this song." And then I did that one. So now it's like the whole album title is, she said, "This is your album. So we're gonna do a whole photo shoot, release party, everything. This is yours." So I'm like, what? So the album is mine. So I'm having a release party. Probably, I think we're planning for like July, August, something like that.
Make sure I get the dates on that. No, I have to be there. I have to purchase this.
Yes.
I can hear your voice on a record. That is
Oh,
going to be
yeah.
amazing. Wow. You also have another event coming up.
That's coming.
You also have another virtual event coming up on August 28th, with Queen Stokes,
Yes, I do.
Shut it down. I already know what time it is. Man, anything else, Joanne? I had to throw that in there. Anything else?
Yes, Queen Stokes is amazing. I'm looking at this group grow, and I was like, 13,000 people. 13, what? 000. That's amazing.
Ladies. Yes.
Yes.
13,000 today.
Wow. And that's just amazing. But there are a couple of other books that I'm working on that I know I should have finished a long time ago, but I'm working on those. And we're just going to keep following and see what God has. I will say this, and announcements will come later, but there is new love. God is awesome. God is awesome.
I'm excited right there. Woo.
God,
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you something. Hold on, pause. Like my 13-year-old says, pause. I knew it was something. Because the last time we talked in person, it was a little clenched. Remember that?
Yeah.
I was like, loosen up a little. Remember this conversation?
I do.
Right. I was like, you're not yourself, but baby, I see a new you.
Oh yes, God. I'll say God is good.
Ooh, look at that. Reveal on the Heart of the Matter show. Did you see the ring? Like, did you catch it? Make sure. If you don't do nothing that you gotta share this live, man. I knew it was something. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. God is his thing.
You're taking the Heart of the Matter to another level, like level upon level upon level, and I appreciate you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Listen, if there's going to be wedding bells and ceremonies, make sure I get an invite.
Definitely.
I cannot wait to hear this record with your lovely voice. Do you want to sing a song, like a little piece of a song for us here on the Heart of the Matter today? I would love that.
There's this song that I've been singing because it's just ringing so true. It's ringing so true today and what we're going through. And it's an old song that we sing Baptist church. It's "The blood will never lose its power." God's blood is still healing. It's still delivering, and it's still saving. And that song has just been ringing in my spirit. So I'm going to sing tad bit.
All right.
Lot bit, tad bit.
I love it.
Okay. The blood that Jesus shed for me way back on Calvary. Ooh, the blood that gives me strength from day to day, it will never lose its power.
Beautiful. Oh my God.
Thank you.
That was
blood will never lose its power. Amen.
I mean, I'm just here like, wow. This is the Joanne that I love to see. The smile, the energy, the spirit, the openness. Just wow. I am taken aback. I am so excited for you, Joanne. Let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the show because we can talk all night, obviously. We can talk all night. But one thing I want you to leave the listeners with and the viewers with is what is that one thing that you would tell someone who's seriously listening right now because they're struggling with some aspect of your story and they're
Mhm.
going through the thick of it right now, whether it be, bullying or divorce or grieving or shame or guilt. What would you tell that one person who really needed to just overcome it? What would you tell them?
I would say don't try to do it by yourself. You know, don't let guilt, shame, and fear and pride stop you from being able to connect with somebody else first, but then really and truly be open and receive the healing or having somebody to walk you through that process. Whether it be a counselor or a best friend, I would suggest a counselor, somebody that you can trust, that you don't have to
Yes,
worry about, that you
yes,
can call on and have that freedom to say, this is how I really feel, not the surface of, well, I think if no, this is how I really feel. I am angry and I want to go and put these hands on some
absolutely.
whatever, you know. Um, Find somebody that talk to somebody. Don't try
Yes,
to do it by yourself,
don't
you
do
know.
it alone.
Yeah, don't do it alone. Have somebody walk with you. There's
Yes,
somebody who would be willing to walk with you. And hey, inbox woman to woman with Joanne. I'll walk with you if I got to. But we
yes,
shouldn't have to do life alone. You
yes.
know, there are too many of us here for people to be alone. You know.
You're absolutely correct.
Mhm.
And wow, is all I can say. I'm so excited for you, Joanne.
Thank
And
you.
oh my gosh, you got me smiling, girl. That was amazing. Your story was amazing. But
Thank you.
it's just the woman thou art loose vibes that I'm
Woo!
feeling right now. It's got me like, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Oh my gosh.
It's
I'm
a
so
freedom.
happy for you.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, it was a pleasure having you on the Heart of the Matter show. You truly got to the heart of the matter with your story, and we're definitely going to have you come back again next season to
Yes,
give us the updates. Okay? So,
yes.
wow, thank you once again, and it has been my pleasure having you on the show today.
It's been my pleasure being here. Thank you so much for allowing me to come and share a little bit of me.
Amazing. Don't go nowhere. We're going to chat as
Okay.
soon as this is over. All right. Thank you all for tuning in to the Heart of the Matter show. Today, we got to the Heart of the Matter with Joanne Bell. And I know it's late and I know we're a little behind schedule, but listen, you got to catch the replay if you did not catch the real play because Joanne's story is definitely going to help so many people. Be sure to share this link. Be sure to share with 5 people that you love. Okay. And until next time, next Thursday at 8, um, have an amazing day and an amazing weekend. Bye bye.